All right, guys, welcome. It is Friday night. Well, maybe I should say it's Friday afternoon live, depending on where you are. It is 3 o'clock here on the West Coast. For you in the East Coast, it is 6 o'clock. So we're glad to be able to welcome you at this time. We're super thrilled to be here. Glad that you're here, and we're gonna jump in. I don't know if you were with me last week with us, but we had, I was just about to go to a huge hike. I did this massive 23.5-mile hike on Saturday, and it was really epic. I'll tell you about that. But tomorrow, actually tonight, we're leaving to go back over and gonna hang out with Willow and Renee over there one more weekend. And so that's why we're doing this early. But thanks for being here. Let us know where you're coming in from. We're glad to be here. So let's get started. I'm going to actually show you, well, Peter will bring up the reference photo there. I don't have my computer hooked up. I just realized to show you the photo a little bit bigger, but you can download it and look at it. But this is part of the hike that we were on last week. And so it was, oh boy, I have a whole, like, I think I took about probably like 80 videos on the hike, and it was super fun. And I also, boy, what am I trying to say? I took all these videos. It was tiring like all get out. I don't even know. I can't even explain. Like I'm just gonna have to tell you little bits and pieces throughout the day today, because there's so much to kind of get into with it. But it was really fun. This was on the way down from like maybe the last shoot. We were on the hike for 13 hours. This was probably after hour 7, hour 6, something like that. I can hardly see this. I'm gonna switch to a different color. Give me something better. Okay. Going old school. Gonna use my actual brush. But where are you coming in from? How you guys doing today? I'm glad to be here with you all again. It's summer, it's hot, it's feeling good. When we were on this hike, what was kind of cool about it was that it wasn't overly hot. We were up kind of, this is like called the Enchantments. It's near Leavenworth, Washington, just outside of Leavenworth, and it's very high. I mean, it's pretty high up. I think we were at about 7,000 feet, maybe something like that. I think the climb was 5,000 feet of incline that we went up, and so up at the top, even though it was super, super sunny, it wasn't overly hot, which was very nice, because I'm telling you, if it had been deathly hot, I think I would have died, because we had so many miles to go. And a lot of it was, especially the first 6 miles, was all just uphill, like big time uphill. And so needed that. But where are people coming in from there, Peter?
We got Vera from Alberta.
Oh, nice.
Louise from Ontario.
Okay, look at that. 2 Canadians coming in right there off the beginning.
Yep.
What's the weather like up there, you guys? Are you still living in igloos in the summer? I'm just joking. That's what used to crack me up, is like I felt like when I lived in Canada, I realized how ignorant some Americans were, just so ignorant of Canada. It was so funny to me.
Lucia from Massachusetts.
Oh man, yes, East Coast people.
Yep. Claire from Redmond.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, Debbie from Florida. Ashley from Houston.
All right.
Cheryl. Lake of the Pines, California, Northern California.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Wow, it's awesome. I recognize some regulars here, and I'm glad that you're able to get on here with a different time. And yeah. I don't know if it's easier for some of you or harder for some of you, but thanks for being here. We weren't totally sure what it would be like.
Got Kylie from North Carolina.
Okay.
David from Chicago.
Chicago!
Matthew Kelly, Snohomish, Washington.
Chi-town. Matthew Kelly. Matthew Kelly?
Yeah. Is that Matt Kelly?
Matt Kelly. I don't know if I know a Matt Kelly. I know a Michael Kelly. That's what it was just like. My brain was like, is there a Matt Kelly that we?
Who used to preach at Green Lake?
That's Michael Kelly.
That's Michael Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was Michael or Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what threw me. Well, glad you're with us, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt from Snohomish. That's just down the street, not too far.
Sure is. Tracy Gordon, Ontario, Canada.
We got our Canadian contingent.
I know.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Man, I've seen some of the stuff that some of you guys are doing. Tracy, I think I've seen some stuff that you've been doing. I lose track of like who did what sometimes, but I've been like really impressed with the work that people are putting out there. It's so awesome. Man, we love seeing people share their work in our community online. It's so fun. And then we get to hang out together like this. I'm so thankful for Acrylic University and thankful for you. Laura saw that you were on here with us too today. I know that Laura's a teacher.
Yep.
And she's got some work to do trying to figure out how to get some camera stuff set up. So she was just reaching out to Peter to say, hey Peter, can we get a little help over here? Maybe see some of your camera.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
Amy Hurley from Spotsylvania, Virginia.
Whoa, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Spotsylvania.
Spotsylvania, yeah.
Nice.
Sweet Sugar Cube, one from Texas. I don't think that's your real name, but
Sweet Sugar Cube.
Well,
That's a cool YouTube name though. I like when it's like the Instagram handles that I always talk about. It's like I'll be talking to somebody like you're probably somebody I know, and I'm like talking to you, and I'm like I don't know who you are because I don't know anybody by the name Sweet Sugar Cube. But you're probably somebody I know, and I'll be like clueless. Glad you're here.
for sure. For sure. Lucia says, I'm so excited that tonight was earlier.
Oh, good. Yeah. Glad. What do you normally have to stay up pretty late then? I'm thinking like 10:30, 11 before we get done. Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. Like we're going to take off. I mean, the reason that besides because we wanted to be kind to you guys on the East Coast, that was our main reason. But secondary reason was that it worked with my schedule a little bit better. But that was way down the list in terms of we were thinking about you guys and wanting you to get to bed early. But no, I'm actually really pumped up because we're going over to this area. Here's the funny thing. So my two nephews had planned this hike, and my brother was thinking about going on it, and he texted me or something, and he's like, hey Jed, what do you think about doing this hike? You know, his son was gonna go on it, and I was like, man, that sounds pretty fun. Let's see, I think I can do it. And so they were trying to figure out accommodations and where everybody was gonna stay, and one of my nephews said, oh man, look, there's a hotel over there that, look at this pretty good rate right now. And so they were going to stay in that hotel. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to just book a room there also. And I went on and I booked a room, got a couple nights, and started, getting excited about the trip. And then like probably like the day before I was leaving, Renee goes on, checks the reservation. She's like, Jed, you booked next weekend at the hotel. course I did. Oh man, so I had, because Renee and Willa were gonna come over with me last weekend. They were just gonna hang out and we were gonna chill, and then I realized that I'd booked the wrong weekend. So I probably told you that last Friday anyways, but that's the reason why we're going over now, is because it was supposed to be last weekend, but I kind of screwed all that up. But I think in the long run, I'm happier about this because I'll actually get to hang out with Willow and Renee instead of being up on the top of a mountain while they're... Man, I mean, I like hiking, and that was a fun hike, but it was not relaxing. It was not like restful. It was a pretty decent, workout for 13 hours. So I'll be looking forward to going over and just being able to relax. We're gonna stay 3 nights. We ended up adding Sunday night to our itinerary, and so we're going to go the Wenatchee River, which is right there, has a lot of whitewater rafting and stuff like that. And so we're going to do a little inner tubing down the river, which we're really excited about. It's going to be fun, fun, fun.
Eleni Corona says in Nova Scotia, Canada, you're typically done at 11:30 p.m. Yay for the earlier start.
Oh man, Nova Scotia's even further east. Oh, crazy. Yeah, well, glad to be able to do it. 11 or 11:30. Oh man, I can't believe... well, do you remember somebody won something one time, Peter? I don't know if you remember. They won a painting or a... something, I can't remember what it was, but they had fallen asleep. Do you remember that?
Oh,
They'd fallen asleep watching it. So we were trying to contact them, and they were like totally they just conked out on their iPad or something like that.
Yeah.
We were like,
I fell asleep.
yeah, I know. I'm here. My drool is proof that I'm still here. Look.
It's hot in this
Oh my
garage.
goodness, yeah.
It's like...
It is.
Martha Towner is here. She says, I'm in Minnesota. Jim and I were at Leavenworth on our honeymoon almost 42 years ago.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, Leavenworth's such a cool place. We were looking at some like, I don't know, just trying to like see if there was any videos on the whitewater rafting. There were a couple, but not tons. But we came across some people who had gone there last year in the fall, and they were just kind of telling their adventure, because I think they were camping. It was their motorhome camping adventure as they were traveling across the states in the fall, and it just looked like such a fun time. They were a really kind of fun couple to kind of see what they were up to, and as they were showing little scenes of Leavenworth, I was thinking, man, that place is so cool. Like, they had these people out in the street playing music, all dressed up like they were straight out of wherever Bavaria is. What's Bavaria anyways? I mean, is it like... Somebody inform me so that I can go over to Leavenworth and at least act like I know a little bit about Bavaria, because I really don't know even what it is. I mean, I'm thinking it's like a German thing, but I'm probably wrong. Somebody will have to correct me. And if you're painting along, let me know. I'd love to hear who's painting along tonight, because sometimes I don't even really know that anybody is, and then I see paintings at the end or afterwards.
Bavaria, South Germany.
South Germany, okay. See, I had Germany right. Renee came in to tell me. She was so proud of me. She was like, I'm going to she's always looking for reasons to brag about my smarts and stuff like that. Renee's so kind. I don't want to say that I'm the smartest person around, but you know, every once in a while somebody says I did something good and makes me feel so good about myself. You know, after I make all the mistakes of booking the hotel in the wrong time and all that kind of stuff. I got Bavaria. It was part of Germany. See? Oh man. Peter's just in here. He's just like putting up with me. I'm just having a good time talking to myself.
I'm having fun, man.
Oh man.
Tracy Gordon says Leavenworth was dying as a town and they picked the theme for marketing. I have a friend whose family is from Bavaria and they say it is quite authentic.
Oh really? That's pretty cool. Yeah. It definitely, I mean, that's interesting to hear that it was for marketing and that it's, you know, like that they just kind of chose it for whatever reason. But the fact that it's working is like, yeah, it totally is working. I don't know. It's interesting to think like that you could do that. Maybe it wasn't built up that much. How would they say, hey, everybody, sorry, you have to change your building. Like,
yeah.
We're gonna rebase like all the buildings here, or something like that, remodel them. Like, what would that be like?
I'm sure if they were able to convince businesses that would bring more business to the town, they were like, and if they helped them out the costs of
maybe
the city.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea for sure. Oh, guess what color I forgot to put up here? I didn't even talk about my stuff. We got white, cadmium yellow light, cadmium orange, quinacridone red. This is, by the way, PV19 if you look at the code on the back. Ultramarine blue, black, and I've got my Vancouver gray from my time in Vancouver, BC. I came across a really awesome paint company there called Chroma Paints, and they create this color out of a mix of all the colors that they have spill out as they're making paint throughout the year, and they put it all together like 2 or 3 times a year, and they create these colors called Vancouver gray. And they're some of my favorite gray colors because they're like, it's not just black, white, and a couple other colors. It's like, that's probably like 25 colors in there. So when you look at it under a microscope, you can see all the different colors. It's called an active color because of that, which means it's exercising and doing lots of stuff.
Colleen says, hello from Oklahoma. Just finished work. You early birds.
All right, Colleen, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Glad to have you. So great.
E. Hall here from Connecticut. Happy for the early start.
Connecticut? Awesome.
Allison Burris watching from the backseat while traveling home.
Oh, are you really traveling from where? I was wondering, I actually was thinking about you, Allison, because I was thinking you've usually been able to make it with, and you're, you know, sometimes like relaxing, having a glass of wine or something like that. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder if this is going to screw up your routine too much. Yeah. Well, I just heard, you know, I was going to go to Indianapolis, Indiana, to a little suburb called Carmel and do a plein air paint out in September there. And it's canceled. Wah, wah. Bummer, but understandable, but still bummer. I'm going to one still, as far as I know, down in California. But Renee keeps like saying now, she's like, well, I hope it's not canceled. And I'm going, oh man, please don't cancel it. I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll see, but who knows? They are playing baseball, I hear. I haven't looked at any sports things for months because there was nothing to look at. and I'm hearing that the NBA is starting and baseball's already going, and they have. Tell me, somebody's got a. Have you looked at it, Peter? Have you like watched any like sports or seen any highlights or anything like that? Because I think they have
empty stands.
Yeah, like empty stands and.
Yeah, I was watching some of the Mariners game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Must be so weird, huh?
No.
I can't even imagine what it's like for the players. Like, I mean, it must just feel like practice or something, you know?
Seriously.
Like, how would they?
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, but somebody was saying that boxers can hear the commentators while they're boxing. So they have to, like, in some cases it influences the fight, or they have to.
Oh my
commentators have to be
goodness.
Really quiet.
Oh, because the commentators might notice things too,
Yeah,
like.
exactly. And then they'll say it out loud, and then sometimes
Oh
it
my
influences
goodness.
The fight. Yeah.
Oh, that's so. That's interesting. What's up? Okay, Renee. Hey, Renee, come on in. Renee, come in. Everybody wants to meet you. Renee, my beautiful wife, wants to come in, and she was trying to boss me around. So I'm just gonna bring her in, and she can say hi, cause she was saying maybe you could talk a little bit about your painting process, not just. She wants to just kind of tell me what to do, and this is Willow.
I'm just saying hi. Hi.
So. All right, I'm gonna follow Renee's directions, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the painting process. Okay. See, I can't hardly do anything on my own. I just have to have like guidance along the way.
Oh boy.
Every step I take. Okay, so I'm painting on a black surface, and what do you want to know? Somebody asked a question. Peter, what did somebody ask? I don't know.
No. Oh, I guess Debbie asked what brush shape.
Oh, these are all flats, Debbie. These are what are they? They're called Princeton Catalyst brushes. They're kind of my favorites. They're all flats, ranging from size 4 to, I guess probably all I'll use today is probably up to size 12. But I do have up to size 16, and they're awesome. I love them. Great brush. But really what I am doing is I'm just trying to create some variation in these shadows. There's a lot of shadows in the trees and stuff like that, but I'm trying to make them kind of colorful and interesting and have some variety in there. And then as we continue going forward, I'm gonna be bringing more and more light into the painting, more and more of the lighter midtones also, because right now it's still pretty dark. So next time, if you want me to do anything, what you really need to do is, if you had Renee's contact information, like you could reach out to her directly, and then she'd make sure to come in and tell me what to do. But I have this little rebellious streak in me, like right now Renee's not in here, and so I'm just gonna be like, well, see, I'm just gonna talk about what I want to talk about, Peter.
Well,
right?
That's our hangout.
I know.
Are you complaining about your marital problems?
No, not at all. I think it's funny because I was always the kind of, I don't know how often this happened, but I do remember it happening quite a bit in even like a sport like football, where you would get in big trouble for it, but I would forget my helmet. And if you forgot your helmet and they found it, the coaches found it, then you'd be running. And that was like me. I would I'd be running extra stuff because I'd forget, and that helps you not forget because it's a pretty severe consequence, most of the time. But that's the way I am in life a lot of times, and Renee's helped me get a lot more, she keeps track of things and helps me figure out what I need to do and reminds me about things that I otherwise would probably neglect. It's kind of cool how in a marriage or in a friendship or just in family or whatever it is, even in work, you can be kind of like matched up with people that are so different than you, but the differences that you have are so good because that's what actually makes you kind of work together and be able to have more than just one set of strengths. So we're getting kind of the base of these darks in. Now over on this side there's still some more room for these rocks. I'm gonna try to get some more of those rocks in, and I haven't really put in any of the sunlight or anything like that. And I just dip straight back into my paints, and this is a bead box, but I like to just dip straight back in. I don't worry about the color getting mixed or anything like that because it usually isn't a big deal. Not that much paint.
Susie Crawford asks, where is the plein air event in California?
The plein air event is in Laguna Beach. And it's October, I think it's October, let's see, 3rd through 11th or something like that. I don't remember the dates exactly right now, but it's somewhere in there. And it's it's a pretty cool event. First time I've been invited to go to it. I think I told you guys that story last week, so I won't tell you again, but I'm excited to be there and hope that it does happen. If you are close by, for sure, if it's happening, come by, say hi. We're also kind of hoping that we could maybe plan, because last week Johanna asked for, she said, what would be really cool would be if we could have a get together with other Acrylic University people. And we're like, well, how could we do that? We can't really do that now, but wait, how could we do it? And we thought, what? We have my studios at a public place in right here on Camino Island. And we can have, we thought, what we could do is we could have something outside. Because there's a big, courtyard. And we thought we could maybe have something where we have a little get together in the courtyard. People can, we can get food at different restaurants that are right there. And all outside. It could actually be pretty cool. We thought of a couple things that we might be able to do. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but because of Johanna's reminder, it made us think, man, yeah, we were actually hoping to do something this summer, and all the different stuff that's gone on, recently is totally, shut down so many plans and everything like that, but it made us think, oh, maybe we could figure something out.
Denver Wilson says, hello, Jed.
Hey, Denver, how you doing? Denver from Minnesota. With a name like Denver, I feel like Denver's That's a pretty cool name. I like that name.
I do too. Good name, Denver. And if you come to the first AU meetup, I'm gonna make a film about it.
Oh,
You're
cool.
Gonna be memorialized.
Nice. You'll live on forever.
Jim Towner says we should do lots of impromptu plein airs everywhere, like here in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, where are you in Minnesota? I don't remember, and that's Martha, I believe. But you know, one thought that we've had in the past, like we just, you know, for a while the school here was saying that they were gonna have like online or a partial day kind of school, like 2 days a week and stuff like that. And Renee, we were trying to make a decision because we had to figure out what we're gonna do with Willow in the fall, and I didn't really feel like, man, I was like, everything, you know, I kept hearing people say that other schools were shutting down totally and different stuff, and it felt kind of iffy to me. Like, if we decide we want to put her in school, how do we know it's actually going to happen, you know? And just so many things that were up in the air. But in the back of my head, there's also this other thing that I think about sometimes. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we could like rent a RV or something, or just travel around and like go around the to where all the people that we know from Acrylic University, like they all live different places. And I think we've talked about that before, but it's still like in the back of my head is something that'd be so cool and so fun to do. Just go around, tour around the country and see people. And it'd be super fun if people had the ability to figure out like events like that, or, you know, like, yeah, if you came, you know, we could organize this kind of thing here, or, you know, a workshop or plein air event, whatever it is. Be really fun. Fun for me. Oh no, Peter's left me. I'm in here all by myself. No one knows what I'm going to talk about. I'm a loose cannon right now. I can say whatever I want, and no one can direct me. So you better watch out. Oh no. Oh, Peter just came back in, and he had a really nervous look on his face. Like,
Not nervous.
I left for too long. I don't know what Jed was going to say. He came back just in time before I started going off.
I'm sweating. It's so hot in here.
I know.
It's so sticky.
I'm not gonna keep coming.
Oh, Renee's got something more for me to say. Oh boy, Renee's
That's a
got
good
some
reminder. I
good.
approve of that.
Whoa, look at that. She said it right here so everybody could see. Remind them to like video and subscribe. Look at that. Do I need to say anything? I don't think I do. Wow. Look at that. Okay, so what you're seeing down there in the screen looks to me like a little bit darker than what I see when I look at my painting. But it's good, it's helpful for me to look at that every once in a while too, because it gives me a better idea too of like, do I need to raise the values in my painting? And a lot of times when you start with a black surface like this, you kind of do. You need to get a little bit more, you know, it just takes a little while. It takes a while to get the light values up to where you want them to be. So I'm gonna start putting in some of this water color. And the color of these lakes is so cool. You know, these alpine lakes reminded me quite a bit of Lake Louise or that kind of lake in Canada. Just an emerald, turquoise, blue-green that is hard to describe unless you are there and looking at it, and then you can kind of go, yeah, That was something else. And that's just what it was like here too. Now what I need to do with this, and then there's a fair amount of reflected light down there also. So it's like there's quite a bit that in water that can happen, and it's all kind of going on here in this little scene because you've got light that's coming down, hitting it directly, sunlight, and then you've got some reflections, and then you've got some of the sky that's being reflected, the light blue color, and it all kind of is working together. You hardly can see some of the seams, some of the differences, but okay. What else is going on, Peter? If I see Peter on his computer not paying attention, then I say something because I am being bossed around by Renee, and therefore I can boss Peter around.
It's true.
And then Peter can boss me around. It's kind of like a weird hierarchy because it's like a cyclical circle.
Yeah.
The only person that doesn't really get bossed around is guess who?
Renee.
Yeah, no one bosses Renee around. She kind of just, that's the way she likes it though, you know, like, and she knows it too. Like, it's funny with Renee because if you know Renee, she's the nicest person in the world, and you never would really know how she's bossy. I just don't know any other way to say it. She's bossy. She likes being a boss, and she likes having people to tell what to do.
Jude asked, can you tell me which blue you're using right now?
Okay, so this is ultramarine blue up here, and this is phthalo blue down here. And both of them, I've used both of them in this water. And it's hard to say exactly because they're kind of mixed together right now. But I'll try to point out if I use one of them again in the future. I'll try to make a point of saying which one. But just know that the one that's up here is the ultramarine blue, and this one is phthalo blue. And most of the time I'm using ultramarine blue. It's more common.
Debbie asks, do you find acrylics dry darker than the color you were painting?
Yeah, they do. They do dry a little darker, but you generally just get used to it. And when I'm painting over something like this, I'm painting these on a black surface is what I'm trying to get around to say. I'm painting on black, and because of that, I'm used to it, and I'm expecting it to dry darker. So I'm planning for several coats where I need to get my lighter values. I'm planning to do several coats. Oh my goodness, she just showed up again. She's coming to boss me around.
No. But why don't you tell them the story about how you and Jonathan went up that part of the lake?
Isn't that funny? Okay. Okay, now I have a story to tell you. Okay, I will tell this story. It's worth telling for sure. So in the hike that we were on, there was a part of the hike called Asgard Pass. And Asgard Pass is a vertical ascent of 3/4 of a mile. I'm trying to think. It's basically, you're just going up a very steep area. I mean, there's some stone. You know, it's just like big boulders everywhere. It's like a huge granite or whatever kind of stone it is. Just like, I don't know what you call it when they're just washed down and they're all just sitting there. That was what it was like the whole way up, basically. And my nephew we got to the place, we were about to start going up, and one of my nephews was saying, like, just talking about, like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. It's gonna take us 2 hours or something to get up this. And this other kid, Jonathan, that was there, he was a friend of my niece. He said, well, oh no, he started, I think, just kind of like playing around with my nephew, Josh. He started saying, like, oh no, that's not a big deal. I can do that in an hour. Like, that's no problem at all. And so then Josh started thinking, well, he started saying, oh yeah, you can, you know, I bet you can't, that kind of thing. And I always am the kind of person that I like challenges, and I'm always ultra competitive, and I also hate going slow on things that I think you should go fast on. And
Same.
all of that made me say, oh, well, I'm going to do it too. If you're going to try to do it in an hour, because they ended up betting, I said, man, I'll do it with you. And I wasn't doing it for money, but I just said, I'll go with you. And so our goal was to make it up the whole pass in 1 hour. And so we took off, and we were going, and after about 25 minutes, we thought we were like halfway. And this one guy misled us a little bit, and he said, oh man, oh yeah, you're more than halfway. It's only 20 minutes to the top from here. So I started thinking, man, maybe we can make it in 45 minutes. And he did say, like, but you know, you have to be aware it's a false summit. So you'll get up there and you'll think you're close, and then you'll realize, oh, it's further. It's you know, we're not there yet. So we kind of knew that as we're going up, but we start going up, and I'm telling you, I'm just huffing and puffing, but I'm like running as fast as I can, basically. I'm not running, but you're scrambling on all fours, and only stopping as, you know, just as little as possible, telling people along the way. I kept trying to get them to get out of my way and out of our way. So I was like, hey, we're trying to make it up, and you know, we have this bet, you know. And so then people would kind of get like, oh, excuse me, you know, like, we'll get out of your way. But there was quite a bit of room most of the way, you know, you could go around people, all that kind of stuff. The thing that was hard was where there were lots of people going up, the gravel was usually kind of loose too. And it would mean that, because a lot of it was big, huge rocks, but then on these certain places, there'd be loose gravel and little rocks. And when you were walking on that, it was kind of like walking on sand, where you would take a step forward and your feet would also slip back at the same time. But the thing that I was kind of worried about was kicking rocks or something like that down on people below us. So thankfully, we were getting up, and every time I was like, 45 minutes is just around the corner, we're almost there. And then we get to that place, and nope, it wasn't that peak, it was the next one. And we kept going and going and going. Anyways, long story, but I made it in 59 minutes.
Nice.
And unfortunately, I wasn't the one who had made the bet, and Jonathan came in at 1 hour and 1 minute. He lost by 1 minute. Oh man. So,
Bro.
yeah. But we got to the top, and then we sat for an hour, or we sat for 40 minutes before the rest of our crew got up there. And yeah, but it was fun. That was definitely, that's the kind of thing I like to do. I know it's probably kind of dumb, but
You only live once.
yeah.
Allison Burr says, Renee needs my mug that says, I'm not bossy, I just have better ideas.
Oh man, no, she doesn't need anything that's going to encourage this kind of behavior. I mean, she doesn't need encouragement. She already knows like her ideas are already better than mine. I strictly forbid you, Allison, from giving her anything like that. Oh. Yeah, sometimes Renee like asks me what my thoughts are on stuff, and we'll kind of talk a little bit, and then she'll be like, well, I'm gonna go think about it, you know, or something more. And I'm like, well, like, were you really asking me? Like, did you really want what I was thinking, or were you just kind of like, was it just kind of like, okay, got that out of the way, now I'll go make the decision, you know, like, I don't know. Super funny. I think that I have the most amazing wife in the world. Whoa, and amazing daughter too. Willow is such a fun little girl. It's gonna be nice. We're really looking forward to going over and spending time together. And
Cindy asks, what were the temperatures at the Enchantments?
you know, I think at the top it was probably, we left really early, so it was morning. But it was probably only like 60 in the 60s at the top. I'm guessing. I hiked all day long with my hoodie on. Like I had a sweatshirt hoodie, and I wasn't too hot until we started getting down. I mean, I was sweating tons after Asgard Pass. Don't get me wrong, I was drenched, but I didn't get really hot until we started coming down the backside, and that was, you know, like I could tell it was like at least 20 degrees hotter down there than it was up at the top. And it was, I mean, I might be wrong, by the end of the day it might have been 70 up at the top, but we were kind of descending, and you know, it wasn't really bothersome at all. It was kind of windy up there too, because I think somebody had said, watch out, there's going to be tons and tons of bugs, and it wasn't too many bugs. But there were mosquitoes on the way down, but not as many as I was kind of thinking with what some people had said. So I was really thankful. And this is coming down looking at, I don't know if I said this, but it was looking at Snow Lake, which is why if you want to win this painting, text in the word snow to our number 855-588-4278, and that will enter you into our thing. But just type the word snow. Don't put anything else in there. What were you going to say, Peter?
Your mom says Silver's asleep on her desk next to the computer listening to your voice, Jed.
Oh, so because we're going over, my mom and dad took Silver today, and they're watching him over the weekend, and that's cool. Old Silver's sleeping listening to my voice. I doubt it's because of my voice. He just sleeps all day anyways, no matter what.
Johan asks, did you see any goats?
Oh yeah, there were lots of goats up there. The first goats I saw were going up Asgard Pass, and I didn't stop or do anything because I was too much trying to make it to the top, and I actually avoided them because I didn't want, they were really close to the trail, and I took a different way because I was like, I don't want to do anything that's, you know, I took 59 minutes, so I didn't have any time to spare. But then at the top, there were several other places. I actually almost walked into one. I was looking ahead at one of those cairn things, you know, that mark your way. And I was trying to figure out where to go. And somebody said, oh, it's right in front of you. And I thought they were talking about the marker. And I looked up and it was a goat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I really almost walked into it.
Jason posted a video of him seeing something weird.
Jason saw a bear coming down the other side. So my brother did hike up half, like the two It's called Kolchak Lake. And then on the way down, he saw I'm not joking. I think my dad thinks it was a grizzly.
Really?
Yeah. It was big.
Dang.
And it was brown. It wasn't it didn't look like a black bear, that's all.
That's freaky.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty nuts. For sure. And he made it halfway. He was kind of, he was our ride, so he had to go back, but he was also kind of sore. He said he was going kind of slow on the way down, and then he saw the bear, and he said it picked up his speed. He picked up his speed pretty quickly after that.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. Pretty amazing to come that close to wildlife like that. It's one of the really cool things about hiking, right? And doing all that is like just being outside. I always find it was the same thing when we had our boat. Like my favorite thing was just what you would see when you were out. There was always something. So I really like this pattern, this light pattern coming through, and I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to, represent it perfectly and make it as cool as what it is, but it was something that drew me in to want to paint this, because I've got so many pictures from this trip. I didn't stop to take pictures that often. I actually just kept walking, and I would just be shooting like from the hip with my camera on my phone, but I took a lot of videos and I took a lot of photos. But the way the light was coming down here was really pretty to me.
Jude says just a few of us are plein air painting next Wednesday and next Sunday. Pastel artists and oil painters.
Where? Where's that, Jude? Is that right around here? Or?
I don't know. I'll have to see.
That sounds fun. Okay.
Jude says White Horse Mountain in Darrington.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Do you know where that is?
No, not exactly, but Darrington, I know where that is.
Gotcha.
Do you know where Darrington is?
Nope, I had.
Oh, okay. Darrington is just, it's probably about an hour from here.
Gotcha.
Not super far. You actually probably were kind of close on one of your hikes and you didn't know it. Well, maybe kind of close. It's like east, just a ways.
Yeah, we had to get on some eastern highway or interstate
Yeah,
to get to where we were.
yeah. And more than likely, you're probably within 20 minutes of Darrington at some point.
Jude says it's in my front yard.
Oh, really?
So.
That's cool. It's always convenient.
Oh yeah, Roberta says awesome place, love Darrington, close to the Mount Pilchuck 2.7 mile trail hike. Yeah, that's. I don't know if that's the exact one. Actually, yeah.
I'm sure it's you were really pretty close.
Yeah, Roberta, we hiked the Mount Pilchuck one earlier this year. I did with some friends. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, let's see if I can make some of these background trees not be so. Well, actually, I want to help them not cut out the foreground trees as much. Get rid of some of that black. Yeah, we're trying to figure out a good hike for tomorrow. I mean, depending on it's super hot, because I think it's gonna be, I think it might be like, I think it's like 102 or something over there right now. And I, you know, don't think we'll be doing too much hiking, but we might be able to get a little bit of hiking in the morning before it gets too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And
it gets hot fast.
I know.
Like 10 a.m. and it's like 85 degrees.
Yeah, I know. It was actually like that here the other day. Man, we were outside and it was like, sheesh, it's only 9:30.
I know. That's why people get up early to mow the lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, or do it late at night.
Yeah.
So as these trees go back, I'm gonna probably try to get rid of some of this black that's back here in the back, because as things go further away, we will lose that high contrast of the dark, and it will become less of a dark accent. And it will also turn a little bit more blue, right? Right, everybody? Right.
Chloe says you can always walk around Lake Wenatchee. 8 miles isn't too bad either, as long as you get there early.
Oh, that's cool. Well, the cool thing is I have a friend who is actually over there with his family right now camping in at Lake Wenatchee. And so I was thinking about going there and, you know, just hanging out. I've never actually, I don't think I've ever been to Lake Wenatchee since maybe when I was a kid I went, but haven't really been there since I could remember anything about it. And knowing that there's a hike there, that sounds pretty cool. I actually really like that idea.
Yeah, I think John and our family bike it when they go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. I wonder if we could bring our bikes. That'd actually be really fun. I don't know what it is about biking, but biking adds a little bit of excitement to something. Outside, we are gonna, did I say, I think I said this, we're gonna river raft, or we're gonna take the inner tubes down on Monday. That'll be fun. Man, I'm just kind of regretting that I didn't get the little handheld videos that I took from that day from the hike. If I'd had them ready, Peter, I could have given them to you. You could have played a couple of them.
Oh, that would have been awesome, dude.
Yeah, but maybe what I might do, I actually was thinking about making a little, like a module. One of my ideas, tell me if this would be a good idea, guys, because a lot of times my ideas aren't. But I have lots of ideas, don't I, Peter?
Yeah, you do.
So do you.
I do too. We're
Yeah.
just idea farms.
But I was thinking about, like, instead of, well, you know, so we have monthly modules, and right now they've been on things like, you know, subject matter. But I was wondering if a slight change to that would be to make it a little bit more location based, or trip based, or something like that, and to say, like, okay, this is going to be like a series of paintings and some teaching on these that is from this, you know, location, right? And so there might be some more variety in the type of, subject matter, but it would be the kind of subject matter that you would find in that place, right? So like, instead of making it all trees, maybe it would be like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like if you went to San Francisco, for instance, you'd say like, we're going to paint the Golden Gate Bridge, we're going to paint, these city streets that are, so cool, and these rolling hills, and we're going to paint the vineyards in Sonoma or whatever it is, right? Like something like that. And then just build the whole thing on that.
People like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
People are already saying they like it?
There's a couple people have.
Oh, that's nice.
Three people.
People like my idea? Wow.
Don't get all the
I'm crying. Oh, man.
Tracy Gordon says some of us don't have mountains. Sad face. That's why you gotta move out west.
Well, so what do you mean by that, Tracy? Do you mean that you wouldn't want to paint mountains, or are you saying that you just like lack mountains to paint on your own? Because one of the things that I think that could be kind of cool would be like, because I know like there's so many things in different areas that are interesting, right? Like every region has its own, kind of set of stuff that's unique and kind of fascinating. And I was thinking like, what's kind of cool about it is like, if it's like sharing in the experience together to some degree, because you get to see an area, even if you've never been there, you can see what it's like, and maybe do a few paintings from it, Okay, starting to get a little bit of like that feeling softer is good to me.
Mary says, Jen, I love that you're all in with your students.
Oh, thanks, Mary. Okay, there's these trees that are kind of hanging out. One of them looks like it's kind of dead right here, but it being a little bit lighter is interesting and kind of stands out and gives us something to see down here right along the beach edge. I think one thing I admire in certain artists, I'm thinking back to a guy in Indiana. He's a really great artist, and one of the things that I love about what he does the most is he controls his values very well. And it's like, kind of how far things are away from you so easily. It all just reads perfectly. And that's what I'm going over in here. Just, I want my darkest values to be in this set of trees. And then I want, like this background area, I want the darks that are back there to not be as dark as the set of trees that is closer. So that's why I'm kind of doing this work back here to try to cause that differentiation. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring this yellow and I'm gonna make this part a little bit brighter here. And this hopefully will pull these forward a little bit more. Add a little bit of, make them a little bit more green, but.
Debbie says, I want to paint everything, challenge ourselves.
Oh, cool, yeah. Yeah, that's what's cool about, I find like I've been really looking forward. I've got a show coming up in August. And I'm got some stuff going. I don't know if I'd say I don't know if I have anything that I'd say is totally done. It's you know, I always usually like kind of leave the final say on paintings. I don't usually like sign it until I'm, you know, had a chance to look at maybe them more together with other paintings, stuff like that. But I'm excited to be painting like that for something specific again. And art is so interesting because you can like literally you can paint just about anything. Like what's stopping us from creating a painting of what's in front of us? Is really just our imagination or lack thereof, you know. Like a lot of the best paintings that we see they're like of ordinary things that somebody had the vision to paint, and they thought that it would be interesting, and it was, because their vision of it made it interesting. So if we can keep some of this in like negative shape and some of it in positive shape, we can have a real fun because I'm just realizing like some of these right in here, I didn't intentionally make them, they were more just shadows on those back trees, but now I'm looking at them thinking, oh, they look kind of like they are their own smaller trees that are there, and I'm not sure if I can make that work because they might be back too far, but I might be able to, and I'm gonna see, because I kind of like the way that it looks.
Yeah, me too. Linda Smith says, love hearing Willow sing in the background.
Oh, can you hear her? Yeah, she's, I don't know if she might have come inside now, but she was just outside. Yeah, just like singing. I think she's pretty excited to go over to Wenatchee. She was excited about it. Then at one point she got to where what was she saying? I think she, you know, it's kind of weird. Like kids sometimes like fluctuate in what they're looking forward to. And at one point, like, it felt like she was like, I want to go, but I also something or other. I'm like, seriously? Oh man, like I'm so excited about it. Then the next thing I know, she's all, you know, singing songs and dancing again.
No swing.
So okay, well, let's see. Now I actually can add a little bit more of that warmer color back into this area, because I made the front so much more vibrant.
Yeah, Willow is actually a pretty good singer.
Yeah,
She's got better at it.
she practices quite a bit. Like,
Yeah.
she likes singing. I I think I said that before, like one time where I was kind of worried that I didn't know if she was going to be a good singer, but I knew she loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got that, what do you call that, where you're vibrato or something, or like where your voice kind of can shake a little bit or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like she kind of can do that.
I know.
So a lot of this is, just thinking through like what will add to this without, sometimes you've heard me say this probably a bunch of times, less is more. And kind of how can we accomplish what we're trying to do without making it overly complicated or there's a lot of these trees that are in the sunlight, so coming back over this with a little bit of the color that looks more like sunlit trees is helping
Yeah, there you go.
get that feel.
That looks really good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Uh-huh. Gail says acrylics is a new medium for me. Oil is my game.
Well, Gail, so does that mean that you're starting to paint in acrylics, or you're saying that you haven't yet started because you still are working in oil? It'd be interesting. I'm curious. I always think it's interesting to see people kind of who are used to one medium either switch or try switching, or experiment, see what they can do, because they're similar in some ways, of course, but at the same time so different, Okay, now let's see this tree down here. I kind of want to see if I can make this look like it's in the shadow a little bit more. And that phthalo blue might do the trick there, if it's not too bright. But I think I might be able to throw in a little bit of that color in some other places. And let's see.
Gail says definitely experimenting. I have started to paint in acrylics and it isn't as smooth as oil. You put as smooth in quotations. So I get a little scared that I won't be able to blend it as I like. Learn to add more water for that.
Yeah. You have to figure out different ways of blending, that's for sure. You can't. What I think with switching is that if you are trying to use it like oil, you'll probably be frustrated. If you think of it as a totally different medium and you learn to embrace it, and you learn to think, well, okay, I'm not going to be able to blend in the same way, but what are the strengths? What can I do? And you start looking at it that way, I think that what you'll find is that you'll have plenty of other strengths that can make up for what you lost. But you just have to look for them. Like, for instance, you can do several layers of paint instead of one. You can do 5. You know, you don't have to struggle quite as much with things like muddy paint and muddy mixtures, because the paint dries faster and it's not going to be a real struggle of trying to get paint, you know, changing a color, and you're going over something that's still wet and it's picking up that old color, and now you're scraping off that old color, and you know, things like that. You're not going to have that, but you won't be able to put on paint and then come back an hour later and put a color next to it and blend them together. That's not going to happen. So you have to figure out, like what I just did there is I put some on and then I took some off with my finger, and those little tricks, like, they're just little things, but if you can kind of wrap your head around some of those things, it can go a long way in doing it. So like the instant blending of something is very important, in my opinion. Knowing that you've got just a little bit of time to work with it. If you need to do a blend, then do it right away. Maybe you don't need to do as big of a blend as you thought, or maybe you can do a layer, something like that. But if you need to do a wet blend, then you need to do it right away, and you need to act kind of quickly. But I'm curious to see. That'll be fun to see how you do. Is it Gail? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gail, please let us know. I mean, I'd love to encourage you. I'm very passionate, of course, about acrylics, but would love to. You know, I love seeing people recognize over time the benefits to acrylics and flourish in them. So we'd love to see that for you. We're getting pretty close. Peter, I think we could probably, I'm gonna be doing this for a little bit longer, but maybe we could start getting kind of ready to do our little draw a name kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
So if you haven't yet done it, text the word snow, because this is Snow Lake, looking down at Snow Lake. Text the word snow to 855-588-4278. That number is rolling across the bottom of the screen. If you haven't seen it, you can find it down there. And that'll enter you in. And we'll see if you're the lucky winner.
Tracy Gordon asks, what is your favorite thing to paint?
My favorite thing to paint, like subject matter wise?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I love trees. I love, you know, like, I love houses too. I love city streets.
Alleys?
Alleys. I love alleys. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a good question. I don't really know. I don't have a very good answer right now. My very favorite. Let's just say I love painting life. I would say though I love painting light, right?
There you go.
I think that that's probably the overall common denominator. It's like,
Carol asks, can you share what size brush you are using?
this is a number 4. I've been using this like a lot today. Just kind of a smaller brush.
That makes sense. Matthew Kelly asks, what is your opinion on gouache?
I think gouache is cool stuff. Like, I've never really used it myself, but I got to hang out with Mike Hernandez just a little bit last year at the Plein Air convention, and he is kind of like the gouache guy. Like, at the convention, he's the guy that works in it, and I think he's probably the only person who's there who does it. So he's kind of done a few videos, and I saw his demonstration. I watched one of his videos, and it's cool stuff. Like, really is. I think it's pretty awesome. Like, the thing that I of course wanted him to, become an acrylic painter, because I think he's a great guy. He's a really great artist. And I was trying to say, like, why don't you come over and work in acrylics? Because the benefit of gouache is that you can do a bit of blending. I believe, like, you can kind of re-wet it. But the downfall of that is that because it can be re-wet, it has to be framed under glass, or you have to, like, some people will varnish it, but other people won't because they're more purist and they don't want to put anything on the surface. But if you don't put anything on the surface, then you've got the issue of it will, get messed up over time because it's not protected. And so that's what I love about acrylic, is that you have all the versatility of these, like, of oils, in that you can frame it. It doesn't have to be under glass. It's gonna last a super long time. It's water based. I mean, I could go on and on about acrylics, but that wasn't what you asked. I've just never used gouache, but I totally think they're cool. It's a cool medium for beginners. Just joking. Oh man, I think gouache is kind of in the same boat. Like, it's funny because I guess some people do use it more, but it's kind of like acrylics in that it's not as common and not as many people are familiar with it, and they don't really use it in the the kind of maybe professional art world or the plein air painting world. It's not quite as common as oil or pastel or maybe even watercolor.
Colleen Maggard says, I didn't miss too much. I had to go feed my pigs and chickens. Took Jed with me. What a trip to listen to painting while doing farmer stuff.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Okay, well, Peter, let's run that.
You want
Yeah, let's run it. We're going to pick the numbers, guys, so
let's do it.
hopefully you've got your info in to us already.
Let's see here. Select. See winners.
Peter is selecting the winners right now. Who knows, maybe it's you.
I know this area code.
Oh, nice. So you will be getting a text here in just a little bit if you're the winner. So keep your eye on your phone, because we only give these out to people who are with us for the long haul. I'm gonna work a little bit here. I've just decided I'm gonna just bring a little bit of this darker into the reflection down here. See if I can do, don't want too much there. It's more over here, a little shadow.
Alright, I'm sending out the text right now. Check your phones.
Check your phone. Peter's got a text out there to the winner right now. So just make sure you write him back right away. That way we can confirm it and get this to the right person. Last week we had a little, well, I think you're with us. I think I saw you wrote back and said that you're gonna join today. Pam is your real name, but
So it was Pam.
I think so, but I think like her grandkids or somebody had set her up on YouTube because her nickname, I guess, must be like Nana, you know, like Nan.
Yeah.
So it's like Nans with her last name. So I was just like a little bit confusing there. I think my mom actually wrote and she's like, I think somebody won it and then they didn't win it, and you know, are you sure you did it?
A great mix-up.
Yeah. Oh man, we're like, oh no.
Alright, texted them, no response yet.
No response yet. Check your phones.
Oh,
We-
well okay, yeah, it's Jody Riverstone.
Oh wow, Jody. All right, Jody wins this painting.
All
So okay, here we go, guys. I'm gonna be done. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you had a good time. I had a really great time. I always do. I love hanging out with you. I hope that you guys are enjoying these, and we love hanging out. I hope that you guys have an awesome weekend. I don't know what you're up to, but I hope that whatever it is, whether you're going through really good time right now or whether you're going through something that's really hard, I really hope that you know that you're loved. We care about you. We believe in you. And we're really glad to be here together in this journey through life. And so thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you next week on Friday night.